So, this was a tie-in with Movie 3. Let's get it out of the way, the reason this game even exists was made to catch people up from Shadow Story before Movie 3 came out. Cool? Cool. So, Sonic X Shadow, huh? Interesting title. The reason is that this game is separated into two halves, so I'll cover the classic game we all know and love, and the modern editions. So let's begin with Sonic Gens. Sonic Generations is still a phenomenal game. It's mostly the same as before, but Sonic feels a little different to control. Not in a bad way, they both feel way tighter here, but I don't know if that's just my experience at this point. They also added in 3 Chalice Finds in every level, and that's really it. I mean, it's good shit, it's well hidden, but that's kind of it for new additions. Other than... yeah, so the game was rewritten. In truth, everybody was going, oh, this story could be so much better if they got somebody who actually likes the franchise to write it. And then they got somebody who likes the franchise to write it. And then everybody started flipping the shit. I don't know, man. I think that the new rendition of the story is actually the best one we've got. I think that the new rendition of the story is actually the better one, to be honest with you. Like toning down Amy's crush and throwing in more references. This is an anniversary game after all. I feel Ian's heavily referential style does really work here. The problem being, Sonic fans are annoying whiny babies who will never be happy even when they get exactly what they asked for. Y'all asked for this, y'all got this. Now y'all are upset that you got this, I don't get it. It's like the whole, oh, they covered 2% more Rouge's back thing or whatever. I don't get it. The Sonic fandom's insane. I'm trying to associate with them less. But because of the rewrite, some of the animations weren't really changed. I mean, just take a look at this scene here.
Thanks, Sonic. Now then, tell me, where is the rest of my island?
It's canon now, Classic Sonic ate most of Angel Island in white space. So yeah, some scenes do really come off as a little... the voice acting could be better. I feel if this was given the proper time and attention it needed to redo the animations and give the voice actors to perform a little better, this rewrite would probably be just the definitive version, no matter what you said. But because the Generation side was mainly an excuse for the Shadow side, yeah, it's clear why they didn't put that much effort into it, but I do have to ask, what was the point of going through and rewriting the game if you're not going to do much with it? Ah well, let's deal with the modern stuff, the real stuff we're here for. The game begins in space, with Shadow looking around the space colony Ark looking for some kind of biosignature gun. Wait, no, that's not what happened to Dark Beginnings. So I guess we're ignoring that now? Alright. Anyways, something draws in Shadow and we begin the game. First thing, this game is 100% using Frontiers as its base, and yet it still feels better than Frontiers. It feels just that little bit tighter, and it feels like they're using the open zone style of movement for the Shadow stages, which would have been the cyberspace stages. Here we get to play around with Shadow's new ability. His Chaos Speed, Chaos Snap, and Chaos Control. I say the new abilities, but they've been in the franchise for a while now. Chaos Snap can let you teleport through walls and lasers and such. Chaos Spear can stun enemies and hit switches. And finally, Chaos Control slows the flow down to almost to a crawl, besides a few items, which either instantly cut off or still move at normal speed. Once the level is over, Shadow picks up the fake Chaos Emerald for Sonic Adventure 2, and then gets sent into white space with Omega also showing up. He then returns to the Ark, where we then find that Act 1 is fully 3D and Act 2 is fully 3D, for every stage but one. He also gains wings here, or something like that. It isn't clear on the first playthrough, but he doesn't get to keep the wings. This is really just a one and done, which is really weird, especially with other things we'll get into. Once in white space, he finds himself with a gear and he uses this to open a capsule, which gives him more spears to shoot out at once. Going further, he ends up at Rail Canyon. This repeats until he reaches a boss fight, and then until Sunset Heights where he finds Gerald and Maria. He's finally able to get his closure. Around the same time, Black Doom also makes himself well known, and we also get a hefty lore dump about how Black Doom plans on doing all of this. Finish Chaos Island, link back up with Rouge, and have the single most Ian Flynn line in this entire game. And not in a bad way either.
I found you, Shadow!
The Blue Hedgehog, of all places.
You have something I need.
You can wait until my business is finished.
Yeah, sorry, but that Chaos Emerald and I have a date with a monster.
Well then, it'll be a date to die for.
And since Shadow has to canonically lose, he, in fact, loses. But Sonic gets the fake Chaos Emerald and Shadow refuses to fight unless it's on his own terms. God, I miss Shadow actually being someone. Anyway, he gets the final upgrade at the wings and then he goes to the Black Moon. After finishing through something we'll talk about later, he uses his Doom powers to kill Black Doom and then Neo Black Doom. From there, his powers are taken from him, then he gets to watch as Gerald and Maria die in front of him yet again. And so, he skates off, finally having the closure he desperately needed, letting a single tear drop from his face and flying onto Rouge as he skates back as he tells Sonic to get back on his feet. This story is unironically good. Is it perfect? But it does show they're going to keep putting effort into these stories and have real stories to tell. I just hope for the love of God this is the end of Shadow being forced to relive his past. I know some people say that him wanting to stop Gerald and Maria from going back in time to die and all that is like his character regression somehow. But it's like, if your father and sister had died in front of you, you knew they were dead and you knew it was your fault, and suddenly you were in some timeless void and you get the opportunity to save them, wouldn't you also try and take it? I get Shadow moved on and everything, but this is a very different scenario because they are physically there in front of him. And throughout the game, Gerald keeps going, no, don't tell me the future, I know what will happen. And so I do feel that this isn't exactly repeating what happened in Shadow the Hedgehog. I do feel this is a very different scenario. Because instead of just being able to move on from his past is literally right in front of him. Biggest regrets and mistakes are literally standing right in front of him. Wouldn't you also take the opportunity to try and save your sister and father from dying again? Also, you can find Orbot, Cubot, and Big. But there's not much to say with them. You know, just like Omega and Rouge, they mostly provide flavor talk. So, what about that gameplay? Well, just like the original, there are two aspects of Shadow Gems we need to talk about. However, this time, it's the linear levels and the open zone instead of classic and modern. Let's start with the open zone, shall we? Well, to do that, we actually got to talk about the Doom powers, and in this game, Shadow has access to multiple abilities. Chaos Control, Doom Spear, Doom Blast, the Doom Surf, the Doom Morph, and the Doom Wings. These different powers are used in conjunction to get around the open zone and to gather stuff. Yet unlike Sonic Frontiers, the open zone isn't meant to be the main focus here, and as such there's not really much to go into it. All you can really do is collect nuts and bolts for Orbot and Cubot, and use the things you gather from the main levels to unlock some chests. No memory tokens, the keys have been changed to something you have to beat challenge acts for, instead of just any level. While the open zone is fun to explore, it just doesn't have that much going on in terms of what's mandatory for the plot. It is purely there as side content. And you know what? Considering Frontiers had basically no post-game, and this game has very little, I will take that. However, the character dialogue here is pretty fun. It gives us some fun lore tidbits, such as Big the Cat wanting to learn Chaos Control before deciding, nah, it'd make fishing too easy. Or that Shadow Skip doing his homework, or that Maria has a sister. Yeah, Maria has a sister. Neat. Now, for the levels, they're all designed super well and take full advantage of like 3 of the abilities, while the rest are pretty situational. Space Colony Arc is a pretty interesting way to start the game, and for being level 1, it's pretty well designed. It does help you get accustomed to everything. Rail Canyon focuses on the Doom Spear, and as such has a lot of moments where you have to stun things to do homing attacks, or other such things, like trying to stop an enemy while you're on rails and, you know, stun them, go under them, that sort of deal. Kingdom Valley looks really fucking weird, which is odd because Crisis City looks fantastic in the original gens. But beyond that, this level really focuses on the Doom Surf, and it's actually pretty good for that. Sunset Heights is if Forces was done right. We get taken all over the city, from the Heights to the Red Gate Bridge to the Ghost Town, and then to Radical Highway, and then right back to the city. Next is Chaos Island, and this one ain't great. It focuses on the Doom Morph and all the Doom powers. The Doom Morph is probably the least well designed, mostly because the slingshot just is not well explained. And since the game wouldn't do it, I'm gonna do it. So, I'm playing on PS5. To swing with the Doom Morph, you have to hold the square button. But when you let go of the square button, you get facing. You get sent in the direction you're facing. So for example, if you're at the bottom of the swing and let go, you'll be sent flying straight upwards. The game does not teach you this unless you go into the menu and look for this. That is, yeah, this is the worst level in the game. Finally is Radical Highway. Now then, why wasn't this Westopolis? I get it, this is Shadow's first level, but on the other hand, Westopolis leads to at least 10 different possible timelines. Definitely more. It would have been the perfect level to end a time travel stalling on. And look at this level right now. Which does it scream? Radical Highway Westopolis? Oh, I know. How about Eternal Highway from Sonic Frontiers? Yeah, they stall assets again. That's fine and all, but I get why they didn't go to Westopolis. Because if they picked Westopolis, it would have been way too close to Eternal Highway from Sonic Frontiers. And by going to this Doom Zone across multiple levels, it does start to feel kind of overused. but being designed around the Doom Wings does make it fun to fly around. As for the bosses, these might be some of the best Sonic bosses in the franchise. Definitely up there. The Bio-Lizard is the original from SA2, but just better in every way. And by the end point, the Bio-Lizard grows some arms to fight around with and throw energy spheres at you with, and it shits all over that one that was in Generations 3DS. Why was that even in there? Metal Overlord uses the Doom stuff, as such it's the best by default. It's just a good boss fight with not much to say. Now for Mephiles. It's mostly just fine. It's a cool callback, and the part yelling about how he wants to exist. Oh, that felt so good. But since it focuses on the Doom Morph, one part of the game that I feel is underbaked, kind of feels like the worst by default. It's good, just not great or anything. And finally is the boss fight with Devil Doom in Radical Highway. Taking cues from Silver, I see. Ultimately, this boss fight is fine, but it feels a lot less like a boss fight and more like a test of all the skills you've acquired, other than Doom Spear, because fuck that thing, I guess. As a test of your skills, it's good. As a direct boss fight, we're starting to get into Titan territory. The Titans and Frontiers did feel like they fought back a lot more than Doom and Neo Doom do. But hey, the remix of All Hail Shadow is really good. Speaking of music, what about that music? It's fucking awesome. There's not a single piece of bad music here. No, shut up, I don't play Chaos Island, how dare you. Nah, but seriously, I like all of it, even Chaos Island. Take a listen to some. So, with all that said, is there anything else I want to talk about? The skins are neat. Terios looks like his final piece of concept art, and the adventure skin looks good. But, that's about it for now. So, thanks for watching. Until next time, take care. Bye!